It really varies. There's a lot of things on my plate. So being structured and discipline is one thing that I've been working on. So I've separated my time into creator time or manager time. It's one thing I've heard, listening to a lot of podcasts, entrepreneurs who've been there, done that. So, creator time, it could be like creating a new recipe, creating a new label. That's like one thing I'm working on today. I'm gonna make our new labels because it's all about always improving. So I'm creating a new label for our meals. It's gonna have hopefully a QR code that you can scan into my FitnessPal app. It's gonna have the USDA nutrition labels. It's gonna be bigger, better, basically. There's a lot of things to do. Creator could also be like creating systems into our operations that will make it easier, or maker or manager is the other role, which could be, for example, right now we just finished our weekend operations and I'm going into the office and there should be clipboards on my desk where I can review what was done, what went wrong, what went good. And then from there I can kind of just, either there adjust a recipe accordingly, adjust the system accordingly. So there's always a lot to do. We only really cook 2 days out of the weekend here, but luckily we have an awesome team where, I'm not really, needed here anymore. So, it's on to the next one. Always, creating and making the company better. Let's see. So that starts way back in the day. When I grew up a fat kid. I grew up like loving to eat. In high school my nickname was actually Buddha. So I always like to eat, and that's just how I was brought up. I didn't know about nutrition and fitness until later in life when I was 16, and that's when I started training MMA. And like I said, I didn't do any sports growing up. I would play soccer like any other good little Mexican boy, but no one would pass me the ball. So I would just go for the snacks because I like to eat. And then from there, I found out exercise and nutrition when I started training MMA at the age of 16. And that's when I started losing weight just through the exercise alone. And I got to the point where I wanted to actually compete. And that's when I started researching how to meal prep, how to cook healthy. Because I already knew how to, cook, but not in a healthier way. And I guess knowing how to cook, I got that from my mom growing up. She would always, cook, make stuff. And she always says she hates to cook, but I know she likes to cook. But I remember growing up, I would always ask her, like, what'd you put in that? Like, why? What does this taste like? If you had some of that, what would it taste like? I was always very curious in the kitchen when she would cook. And then, when I started actually, myself meal prepping for me, I liked how it felt, because I never really, was fit and stuff like that, so now that I'm really, doing it, I know how great it feels like to, live a healthier life. And then when I see that other people are, starting their journey, it's all about just helping them, giving them like the right tools, the right resources, because life truly is better once you exercise and, eat healthier. So people can order on duckadiet.com. So basically you have to order by Wednesdays to pick it up on the weekend. That way you have it for your busy work week. Other than that, you can follow us on social media, and we're pretty involved in the community. You can find us at the top gyms in the McHenry County area. We post up pretty often at, most of them throughout the week, where you can come try free samples, try our burpee contest or our push-up contest for some cash. There's been a lot of those, with entrepreneurship, when you have your own business, there's a lot of points in life where, like, especially if you're new to it, if you didn't go for school, there's times where it's like, oh, I don't know how to do that, and like, how to even start a business, how to even like, do this and that. There's so many things, and I guess what's guided me in my cross-country confidence really all ties back to kind of like me boxing. When I would step into the ring, sometimes you get in there and then you're like, the bright lights are there, and then you're like, what am I doing here? And there's no going back once you're in there, and that's kind of like how business is, like you get in there and you overcome it, whatever comes at you. And it feels great, and that's what I always like to kind of pass on to our clients, that like, we're not just selling healthy meals, we're selling a better way of life, with eating healthy, right? Eating healthy food and exercise.